الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة لساني يفقهوا قولي بسم الله. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for another day and another session. Um, I was reflecting on the last two sessions that we went over, and I see that a theme of yours is that you are very focused on practical application, doing things that is going to be action oriented as opposed to just talking. So I know that you made the mention of meeting with other imams. So I thought about this and I said that we need to exemplify or show some type of model as an example on what would be discussed and what would be done in these meetings. So when I was doing my doctoral program, they taught us how all research is conducted, and research is conducted in three stages. The first stage, you have to look at a topic or an issue very, very broad. It usually starts off with a problem. So you start off with one problem and you ask some question on how to solve that problem. And then you have to look at that issue very, very broadly. What has all the research said since the beginning of researching this topic to the end, right? Then the next stage, you look at it very in depth. So you try to find research that is related specifically to the issue that you're focused on. And then you go very, very deep in that topic. So for example, if the topic was Muslims in America and how to improve the conditions of Muslims in America, the first stage, you would have to look at the history of Muslims in America from the beginning up until present day. That's the broad stage. The depth stage is you would have to look specifically about maybe if you're looking at a specific population of the American population, Muslim population. So maybe you'll look at indigenous Americans, the people who are born and raised in America. So that's in depth. That's the second stage. And then the third stage is application, where now you understand this topic broadly, you understand this topic deeply, and then the third stage is you do something about it. So I want to present this model firstly, and then offer my services as an example on what other imams can do when they do have this meeting, when we can come together collectively. So I will present, for example, some of my skill sets, what I can do, what I'm qualified for, the background that I come from, and then offer the services, and then we can work out a plan together collectively to move forward that's going to be of a general benefit for the Muslims. So firstly, I wanted to know, what do you think about this model as a model for collaboration with other imams and people of influence in the community? And we go forward from there, inshallah.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. I greet you as well as viewers with the greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and the blessing of Almighty Allah be with you. I appreciate your time and your traveling to Columbia, South Carolina, and your concern, and it's honor for me to know that you willing to help and assist. And alhamdulillah, this is something good, and this is what Islam is about. Allah is saying, وَتَعَوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى, help one another towards righteousness and good deed. And if everybody can come with the little bit that they have, that we're going to be able to, like say, to have a meal. Somebody can put some money, somebody can go to the grocery store, somebody can be in the kitchen. If everybody start to think about contributing something. And also I believe strongly that what Allah said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Indeed, Allah doesn't change the condition of the people until they start to change with their own selves. So of course, we need improvement. We all imams or sub-imams or babies imams, whatever that you want to call us, student of knowledge, okay? But each one of us as the Prophet saying, كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Each one of you is a governor, and each one of you going to be questioned about his government, okay? So every person who is student of knowledge, and I'm calling about the students of knowledge. I'm not talking about the layman or the regular people who come to pray and leave, okay? They never get to study Islam or to be under a teacher to know details and proof and evidence about things like this. So Allah is telling us to help one another and to be a aid for one another. So if you want to cook a meal, one person going to get the groceries, somebody will peel the potatoes and the onions, somebody will be in the kitchen, and somebody try to. So we put, everybody put his expertise or his ability or his idea together. I'm not claiming to be the one who has the solution for the problem. We need to identify the problem. This is something very important. Do we have a problem? Because maybe a lot of imams, they don't think that we have a problem. If you are for a job or you have a mosque, you are the imam there, you've been hired, or that the community hire you, or how you making your income. So you're busy with your local community or local masjid, not community even, and you feel you don't need, you understand, too much. Because when you start to involve and they try to do and extend yourself is more effort. So some of the imams are lazy. Some of the imams, they understand, they don't care. Or some of the imams, they understand, they do not have this hope to see something, or they feel that they content everything is fine. Okay, I'm talking about the people who looking for a better future for Islam in America, and people, you understand, who try to elevate their communities. There is a lot that we can do when we get together. This is the basic that I know. I repeat again, I'm not the one who has the solution, but I can be part of the solution, okay? So, but I believe strongly that we can do better together, that we can have communication with each other. We visit each other for the sake of Allah, which is part of our deen. We used to have conferences and meetings, regardless, like Quran and Sunnah Society used to do something like this. Uh, Other organization, and everybody understand, go to his own people that he click with them, okay? People of Bid'ah with people of Bid'ah, people with Sufi, understand, they gather together, people of Tabligh, Jamaat, they go together. What about the people of Sunnah, okay? Whatever names they adopt, okay, what are they doing? Why they, at least can we get together to see each other, talk with each other, to see what's going on? It have to be a better life for us and a better future for us. Uh, there is many messages. They have no any Islamic school in the localities. This is something very important, because if you've forgotten about Islamic school, you've forgotten about the future, you understand, of this ummah, especially here in America, because you are here in open society and public school, and our children, they spending time among the non-Muslims more than the Muslim, more than their parents even. This is reality. And why we don't have Islamic schools? Okay, why we don't have Islamic curriculums? Which better was the best curriculum that we can use? People in Florida, maybe they build some curriculum, or people in Detroit. We're going to start to know what you have in your community, what kind of a project. I'm going to hear something from you, telling me about my community. I may try to double the same effort and do it. So it's not to understand that one person going to come with a solution, but all of us should be concerned. All of us should be talking about getting together for a better religious life and better understanding about the deen. This is all what I'm talking about. So I need you, he need me, we need each other, and we need to sit down, communicate with each other. You have opportunity here, you don't have it in even some Islamic countries. You can move from all the way to California, all the way to the north until you reach New York, all the way to the west with no passport, with no, okay? So what we're doing with this considered a ni'mah. Other places, you understand, you take the flight for 1 hour, you need a visa and you need all these things. This one thing that we have every day new children coming in our communities. Where is the schools for them? Where is the Islamic curriculums for them? Our businesses. What about the Muslims who coming from jail and nobody want to take them from non-Muslims in their jobs? What about people who have bad credit? Okay, they could not find a decent apartment to live in it. There is a lot is need to be done for Muslims. And we as leaders in our communities that we should be concerned about everything. Islam is not only a mosque. A mosque is part of the different institutions that you understand supposed to be. This where is a mosque for us to get and together and sit and discuss and to see how we can have a better life for the Muslims. If Allah put us in positions to be leading people in Salah, giving them khutbah, okay? So we need to start to fulfill our duty to the best of our ability, okay? We don't have even to work together in the same area, but at least we can sit down with each other once or twice a year to discuss what you doing in your mosque, what I'm doing in my mosque, okay? And they try to copy some of the beneficial ideas that other community doing. So there is a need for us to get together. And after this, from this meeting, okay, meeting or meetings, we're going to start to identify problems, solutions, way about to go it. So I'm not the one who have the, okay, the solution, or I say the way, but I'm saying that there is a problems, there is many things missing in our life, okay, and we need to do something about it. This is all what I'm saying.
Okay, so do you have a suggestion on how we can actually organize this meeting?
One of the things that we can sit and talk about it, put some ideas. I have 2 or 3 brothers here that they are imams in their locality or the chaplain in the prison. We can make a meeting with them and sit down and talk. After this, you understand, the idea can be more clear. We don't have to travel any place. Yourself is here, I'm here. Brother Abdullah Ansari is here. Brother Subhi Hindi is here. Brother, what's his name? Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Not Abdul Haq. What's the brother name? Subhanallah. But he's a chaplain here in the prison. I'm sorry, I forgot it. He's exists, and all of these brothers, in the sense they are graduate of Islamic school or Islamic university, and they are born and raised in America. So we have a seed. You understand? We have enough people that they can sit and talk with us, and we talk among ourselves. You understand? If yourself sitting here for tomorrow, maybe we can request those brothers to can come and sit down and discuss something about it. But something need to be done, okay?
Yes.
And I don't have to be the one but I have the concern, and also I'm willing to contribute, okay? I'm willing to make istidafa, okay? Yeah, that means to welcome the brothers to come to the south so they can take a break for a weekend and be glad to use the mosque, I understand, for overnight and provide, understand, the hospitality according my means. I can adapt to this. I have organization around me in Charlotte, in Durham, in North Carolina, things like this. We're going to have meeting next month on the Zoom. They can join us, and we can discuss it after. There is a lot of way to approach it, but one of the contributions that I can do, like I said, I can use our masjid here in Columbia, South Carolina, to host the brothers. You understand, and to make them comfortable, inshallah, to the best of my ability, for overnight, and we can talk about it.
Khair, inshallah. Okay, so if you'll be willing to host this meeting, that we would call the first meeting with the brothers that are in this community, like can we call it a shura meeting, or what would you?
I may even can call one of them right away, understand? If you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay. You can grab one chair and see if the brother can. Yeah, well, do you think I can disturb you for 15 minutes? Is urgent more important than whatever you're doing? Okay, Jazakallah khair. If you don't mind, what's the brother name? Work in the prison, Abdul Wahab. Subhanallah. Yeah, brother Abdul Wahab, you understand, he working with the prison, and he's a chaplain, and he also graduate, you understand, from Medina, if I'm not mistaken. So all this, you understand, I see, like, when you're making a bread, okay, there is something called yeast, if I'm saying it right. And this yeast, you put it in the flour and the milk and the water to what you call fertilize, or to make the mixture grow,
Yes.
okay, and to be ready to be turned to bread. So I feel, understand, in my small community here, that we have the yeast, okay? Not we're saying that we're better than any other people. Yeah, you can go to Philadelphia, found a lot of masajid. You can go to New York, you found a lot of masajid. But are the people ready to be to work as a founder, or to bring these things, you understand, to start? Are they willing to host, or there is? So at least I'm willing to do this, and like I say, we have something to start, okay? So this is can be, like I said, we need to sit and talk about it, and care about it, and
Yeah,
see.
just me as a person who's traveled many different communities. This is the only community that I find where you can discuss progressive goals. Goals on how to expand the community, goals on how to move forward. So this is the reason why I chose to engage in this interview with you, as opposed to many different other imams, because I've attempted to go to imams for many years, actually. But as you mentioned, there's different reasons why they're hesitant. But I think that the need now is bigger than it's almost ever been. And if we don't do anything now, I personally don't have much hope.
Inshallah, and I just call on my brother here, Abdullah Ansari, and inshallah he will join us in a minute. And we see because also one of the things that we take in consideration is that you have to have a people who the concern have to be there. This one thing, because if everybody happy and content with his local community, or that he is, I look to the job not as a job. I'm looking at the job as a mission. You have to have a mission in your life. You have a bigger goal. You understand, and is not a matter that you are hired in a mosque and you get in a certain amount of money and taking care of your family, and this it. There is some, we have a bigger family. We have a bigger the Islamic community in general. This is our family, and as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, what the meaning is. The likeness of the believers مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل الجسد الواحد. The likeness of the believers in the way how they care for one another, assist one another, is like one single body. When a member of this body suffer, the whole body will suffer. Okay, please join us. We have Brother Abdullah Ansari here, or Sheikh Abdullah Ansari. Okay, okay. If you don't mind, I am going to turn the camera here so people can at least get to know who we're talking about. Okay, and this brother Saleh, you already met him.
Yes, sir.
Actually, this is the third interview that we've been discussing different issues. And I don't know if you aware about that was organization here, or that we had tried to do something collective effort to help Muslims, but for whatever reasons that it didn't succeed due to different facts, and basically was people felt that we are not on the minhaj, or that we are not qualified to do things. Allah knows best, whatever, maybe Saleh can explain to you later. But basically, the situation tonight, it turned away from what we discuss in Islamic issues and things like this. Like he was talking to me about the corona and talking to me about the manasik and hajj. So every day we have a different subject. So now he discussed, understand, yesterday I was telling him the necessity of the imams, students of knowledge, that living in America, that especially those who are on the book of Allah and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and following the guidance of the first three generations, that they need together. And it's not Islam about salah and khutbah and this age. There is a lot of things missing from the Muslim community, especially when you're talking about the indigenous brothers and sisters. There is a lot of missing from our masajid. And those people whom Allah gives them the knowledge and gives them a basira, they have to be, understand, the one who turn the torch, okay, and start to understand the fire so we can warm up. We're supposed to be, it's not a matter, you understand, you're giving khutbah and you're giving class, and this is it. There is a lot of things missing from our life as Muslims, okay? The establishment as establishment, okay? And I give examples that some people come from the prisons, they took new shahada, and they don't, nobody want to accept them in work. What we can give them, what we can provide for them, that we have some people, they are homeless. We have, you understand, different issues related to us here in America that we need to know. Missing of Islamic school in many localities. There is a lot missing from. So we, the people, students of knowledge, we are not claiming that we are scholars, but we know the needs of our Muslim community in America more than anybody else. And if we are not going to put the effort to do something about it, nobody else is going to do it for us, okay? So today he approached me with the question, okay, and he explained to me that what he studied or what he been trained about. If you don't mind, in a few minutes he can repeat what he said to me.
So I told them when I was doing my doctoral program that they summarized how we solve a problem, right? This is the main goal of doctoral research. They teach you how to discover what is a problem and then how to solve that problem. So it first starts off with basically just deciding on what the problem is. Then you're going to ask a series of questions, usually one, maybe two, possibly three questions related on how to solve that problem. And then the research must go through three stages. The first stage is broad. So let's say the problem is how to establish good institutions for Muslims in America. Let's just say that's the problem, right? So you need to do all of the first step with broad is looking at the history of Muslim institutions in America from the beginning to the end, right? Then stage 2 is depth. So now you're going to look at maybe indigenous American Muslim communities or institutions in America. That's where you're getting more specific. You're choosing a subcategory within that big broad category. And then the stage 3 is application. That's where you're doing something about it. You're taking that knowledge and then you're going to do something action oriented. So I presented this model to him that said that we can use this kind of like as a basis for communicating with imams, like let's come up with the, decide on what this problem is, and then these stages on how we're going to get this problem solved. And really it's just, it's the same model of Islam, Iman, Ihsan, if you really kind of see the parallels between the two. So we already have it within our deen. It's just, I'm just trying to explain it as, this is the problem, let's take these steps to solve it. So I basically presented the idea to him that we can first, well, he actually mentioned we can gather some of the people that's in the community first to just have the discussion on.
Yeah, let me take it from here. I told him, I'm sorry. I said to him, he asked me how we're going to start, okay? Because what's happened in the past, I understand, we have about 105 persons came from United States, from Haiti or something different, other close from out of America. And we had a big meeting in East Orange, New Jersey, and we decided to do something together, okay? And they had elected me as to be the person in charge of all of them, students of knowledge. It's not common people who come to First Salah and leave. This was a big meeting, okay? But some so-called Sheikh, you understand, they used to come every year for Quran and Sunnah conference. They felt like, you understand, we pull the rug from under their feet. And they, understand, had a meeting with me and tried to convince me that, you understand, I could not be doing something like this because some of the brothers had changed the understand from the word to say he's the Amir of this organization. So anyway, so Allah knows best about their intention, what's their hearts. They kept behind me, understand, to try to destroy this gathering, okay? And they spoil it, okay? Part of them from those so-called shuyukh, and part of that with some brothers themselves, and some other people that they felt why Muhammad Adly is the one, why it was not me, okay, that I am the Amir. But this is a history. This is what, 10 years now or whatever?
More
This,
than that, yeah.
okay. Oh, so you have an idea about it. So he was asking me how we start. I said, listen, I tell you, I'm not the person who has the solution, but I have the concern, okay? But I tell you one thing, that here we have the yeast, and I give you an example. Yeast is something khamira, okay? And I said, for you to make bread, you have always, you understand, have this khamira to put it in. And I see that here, because we have 2 or 3 or 4 brothers that, you understand, they are students of knowledge, okay? In addition to me, this is one thing. So we can, among ourselves, discuss how to approach this. The second thing, I have a masjid here that I have saying what I can, what I could not here, that we can invite other people who, you understand, would like to come to gathering like this. We can host them in the mosque, okay, for a weekend, because I have the saying here, nobody else is going to tell me why you're doing this. But other places, somebody understand, the mudir is there and the executive committee is there, and so there is. So I said, I think the best thing you understand, and I told them that about your presence, that you are here, and that Abdul Wahab is here, okay, Brother Subhi is here, myself is here, and maybe also a local people that is not too far from here can join us, and we can make a small meeting for this purpose, and we can plan, and after this we can spread the idea, because I feel that is more, okay, that here, and we can, even brothers who could not come for some reason, we can help with the gas money to come. I said, let's, so I say, hey, wait, Abdullah Ansari here, let him bring him and discuss the issue while he's here, because I don't know if he's going to leave tonight or tomorrow to sit and discuss it again. So at least we would like to hear your input about. So basically, I feel, and not I feel, I believe that we can do better together, and that there is a lot of things missing from our life as a Muslim people. Okay, we are not talking about anything to do against the law of the land or any crazy stuff. We're talking about, as example, having Islamic school for our children. This one thing. Try to create jobs for people that could not, to be concerned. Okay, so I said, let me call the brother. You understand? Happen to be here, and inshallah, so now is your turn. Now, what you can tell us, what you want to tell us about, what do you think about it? Inshallah.
الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Where to begin, I guess. I guess what I would say is the challenges are. The challenges are too numerous to enumerate. And one of the challenges is something that you're both kind of alluding to in the process of everything that you're saying, is the absence of togetherness, the absence of a unity, unity of purpose, unity of belief, unity of determining what should we be doing, unity of identifying the problem.
Correct.
You'll have some people who will actually, in their mind, and they'll say it explicitly, sometimes implicitly, that they're, in their mind, they're working for Islam, but to them, we are the problem. The imams and the scholars and the people who believe that we should, as closely as possible, follow the Quran or Sunnah, we are the problem. And that if we were to, get out of the way or be silenced or marginalized, then all our problems would go away. So these are some of the, this is a part of the problem. It's not all the problem and all the challenges, but it's a big challenge that we have to overcome. Just getting on the same page of what is the problem.
Yes.
And sometimes the people who are actively working to solve the problems, some of the problems that the Sheikh mentioned, like the absence of Islamic schools and trying to provide an environment for our youth which is conducive for their Islamic development. He's identifying these as problems, and you'll have some people in our community who would say that these are not the issue. The issue is the extremely religious people, the ultra-conservative people, and that Islam needs to be reformed, and these people are standing in the way of reform, etc. So I say all that. I just wanted to kind of preface my comments by saying that part of the problem is the inability for us to even agree on what is the problem in the first place. But that being said, I do think that what the Sheikh has said previously, and what he's been saying since I came here in April, is that it's important for people who do have a similar idea about what the problem is. It's important for them to pool their resources. It's important for them to stop being islands in and of themselves and concerning themselves just with their immediate communities when these problems are shared problems. These concerns are shared concerns, and if they were to pool their resources, their know-how, their energy, their expertise, and kind of share and work together, that they could come up with solutions that could solve the problems of multiple people, as opposed to a small segment of the Muslim society or Muslims here in America. So I do agree with that. I concur with him that it's important for people who are like-minded and who have a general agreement about what the problems are, is that they do kind of need to sit together and talk and suss things out and hash things out. And that's going to require a lot from us. I think right now, where we are as a community, as Muslims in America, we're just kind of all over the place, and we are united on being divided. That's our problem. That's our problem. The one thing that we can agree on is that we disagree. And I understand also that some of these disagreements are irreconcilable. You know, there are some people that you differ with, and there's no middle ground. And that's fine. But there are a lot of people who really, a lot of our differences in matters, as the ulama say, يَسُوغُ فِيهَا الْخِلَافِ. There are matters in which differing is permitted. And a lot of the differences, sometimes they're semantic differences, which means they're not really differences. Sometimes they're differences of approach in an area where the Prophet has given us room to kind of make ijtihad and do what is most appropriate given the circumstances. And so people like that can actually sit down and hash out a program, an approach, problem-solving and solution-oriented methodology, and go about solving some of the problems that they share. They could actually do that. And our problem, again, is for some reason that we're just not willing to, maybe not willing, not ready, or we don't want to be the ones who initiate. I'm not sure what it is, but we just don't come together and have these types of meetings of the mind. And I think it's important for leadership to get on the same page. And once leadership is on the same page, then I think a lot of the lay people will follow in suit. A lot of the lay people have these kind of almost, you know, denominational, how can I put this?
Allegiance.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that. So basically, they almost have these denominational allegiances based upon, I go to this masjid. I'm from this particular community. And part of the reason why that's happening is because the leadership is modeling that and they're following that model.
Correct.
But imagine if some of these heads of these big masajid and some of these du'at and callers who are active on social media and have large followings in different cities all over the country, if they were to get together behind closed doors and have the type of conferences and meetings that that academics have in specific fields of study, right? Imagine if they were to do that and to come out of that with some type of articles that were published or that were presented, or they came out with a unity of message to their denominations. What effect would that have on the lay people, and what would that effect would that have on dawah? What effect would it have on communication, coordination, collaboration, and ultimately the solving of some of these problems the Sheikh has alluded to? We're all struggling with the issue of the youth. The youth losing their faith, the youth, their faith, if they don't lose it, their faith becomes diluted. Them getting caught up in very immoral activities, the problems of social media, the problems of the educational system and what they're being exposed to, the problems of, you know, alternative lifestyles. All these things are bombarding our youth, and we're all afraid about losing our youth to some degree. So this is a common problem. I don't care, you know, what Muslim affiliation you have. We're all struggling with this. So this is a common problem. We can come and sit and discuss, and I'm sure that we ourselves have approached the problem from a certain angle, and we're doing what we think is best. And I'm sure that there are some things that we're doing that other people are not doing, and some things that they're doing that we're not doing. And if we were put that together, our program would be more responsive to the needs of our youth than the program that we have, which is kind of an island unto itself and is lacking some of the benefit contained in other programs or other approaches to this particular problem. Now, add to that, we have the problems of, you know, matrimonial services. Almost every community I've been in, you know, brothers can't find good sisters, and sisters can't find good brothers. And when they do get married, they have all these problems afterwards, and how those problems get solved, and the problems of khula and talaq and this, that, and the third. and we have our approach here, and other communities have their own approach. But if you marry those approaches, or you marry multiple approaches, it becomes very comprehensive, and you can be more responsive to the needs of those who are struggling in matrimony, in the area of domestic life and matrimonial services. And so you can just keep going down the list of all these problems that Muslims face in America that would be better solved and better served if the Muslims were to put their heads together. As I always say, two heads are better than one, so four heads are better than two. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I say all that to say that I concur with the Sheikh is saying, is that it's important for people who are like-minded, who kind of agree on what those problems are, to start sitting together and cooperating, collaborating. And it's not that difficult, but there has to be a willingness. People have to be open to that. And what I have seen, sadly, is a lack of willingness. There's this, people who are so knowledgeable, and they know those ayat, which tell us to be united. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. And the ayah where Allah talks about how the shaitan is keen to make, disunity amongst the believers. Like, for example, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَن يُوقِعَ بَيْنَكُمُ الْعَدَاوَةَ وَالْبَغْضَاءَ فِي الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ. And also the ayah where he says, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنزَغُ بَيْنَهُمْ, right? So you have all these ayat where Allah is telling us that it's the plot of the shaitan to undermine your unity. It's important for you to be united. It's from the ni'am of Allah, it's from the bounties of Allah and the favors of Allah that He brought your hearts together after you were bitter enemies. All of that, we know all of that. But we know it, and our practice betrays what we know. And so what ultimately happens when there are some people who are willing to extend their hand, as the Sheikh is talking about extending his hand, and you find people who are not willing to extend their hand, pretty soon you just give up, and you just become what? You become focused on your immediate community only. You become isolated, which is what the shaitan wants, which is what the enemies of Islam want. And so...
let's say, as example, excuse me, let's say that we have 150 students of knowledge, you understand? Well, I'm not talking to the layman people who, no, we're talking about people, student of knowledge, like yourself, myself, you understand? Let's say that we have 150 people in America. Let's say you understand that 25 people only going to join us. So what is wrong that we
25 is better than one.
You see?
It's better than one,
That's what I'm saying. And maybe later on, in 2-3 years, people will see the benefit. They will come. But at least, قالوا لما تعيذونكم من الله ومهلكم ومعذبهم قالوا معذرة إلى ربكم.
ولعلهم يتقون.
So at least that we have excuse before Allah that we try. If they don't want to come, this up to them.
You have a network of all the imams in America?
We're working on that. Actually, that's one of the projects that the Sheikh has assigned to me, is because he's passionate about this discussion. This is not something that he became passionate about because of the discussions you guys had over the last 2 or 3 days, but it's something that when I first came, he said it's really important for us to try to get people together, have these conversations, and make our problem solving something which we do as a collective, as opposed to as individuals. So our hope is that right now, one of the things we try to do as far as youth are concerned is we're doing this youth summer camp, and it's kind of like taking a lot of our energy and the energy of our volunteering, our base of volunteers, etc., like that. But once the camp is done, our focus will shift to this, the trying to reach out to brothers all over the country and say, hey, can we meet? Can we talk? Can we just sit together behind closed doors and talk about, identify what the problems are, come to terms or come to agreement about that, and then develop a plan on how we're going to work together to solve them.
But see, right away here, I'm telling you, you understand, we have 4 students of knowledge, okay? And if we decide, we can start a meeting ourselves to see what is the problem, how we can go about solving the problem, what is our goal, what we want to do. So we don't have to stretch ourselves all the way. You can start right away.
And then document it as well, because then it can be a model that can be used for
exactly. Okay, and after this, we can start to invite other people out of town. After we agree, okay, if nobody else want to join, so we join each other. It's still a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So what are your thoughts on that, starting small and then?
Oh, I'm open to anything, man. I've been all over the country, man. I've been all over the country, and any Muslim who cares about Islam and cares about the Muslims is gonna say, if he's been around the country and just seen where we are and where we're headed, is gonna say, yeah, I'm open to anything. I'm ready for anything. It's only the person who either doesn't see it as a doesn't see a cause for concern, or a person who is very, very closed in on himself, and it's just about me and my specific group, whether that be an ethnic group or a racial group or a factional, denominational group. It's all about us, and that's it. That's all I care about. A person who doesn't have that idea is gonna say, yes, what? Yeah, there's nothing I'm going to turn down as long as it's Islamically acceptable, if it's geared toward solving these problems, giving us solutions as individuals, as families, as communities, etc. And so, yeah, I'm absolutely open to sitting with the brothers who are currently here and beginning those discussions. I'm also open to reaching out to brothers across the country, and we're gonna compile a list. We've already started compiling a list
Each
of
one of us
names.
know one or two, and at least. Okay?
Exactly.
So this 4 people can be, by the time we're ready for a meeting, you can have 12 people here. We start with 12,
Yeah.
subhanallah.
So we're actively trying to compile a list. I will be honest with you. I'm not optimistic, just from my experience, and it's sad. I hate to be a cynic. I hate to be like that, because Islam is a religion that encourages us to be very hopeful. And it's not that I'm not hopeful in Allah. Allah can do anything, and I believe that. It's just unfortunately that the Muslims here in America have demonstrated this commitment to being divided, to being separated, to being disunited. And I understand, like I said earlier, some of the differences are irreconcilable. You can't be united with some people. I understand that, but the sad thing is that the people who could be are not willing to be. Yeah.
We can create something like a call اتحاد طلبة العلم في أمريكا as example, okay? League of Muslims, people of knowledge, or not so nobody thinks that we scholar, the students of knowledge in US. So okay, so we create something, and after this, later on, when people come and they see that name doesn't change, okay, it's fine. We are not worshiping a name, but at least we should put a seed for something. I wish that Brother Abdul Wahab is here, or if you staying for tomorrow, maybe we can.
I'll stay for that, inshallah. Yeah.
We can try to have a meeting for 45 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, and let's talk more about it. And okay, we can be the people who do the groundwork, and we can start right away. And after this, I'm sure you know 2-3 people. He know 2-3 people. I know 2-3 people. So, and let's choose a day that like a holiday or something that people can, and we say we can even start between the south and the north, at least to start. Okay. So,
And even those who can't be here, we can do Zoom. I mean, we have the technology where everybody can be together, even if they're not able to be physically in the same space.
Yep.
So I mean, there's no excuse.
Yes,
There's no
yes.
excuse. If we really
If
want to
there is a
do it,
will,
we can
there is
do
a
it.
way.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I would be interested in helping and supporting that, because what I tried to offer him in the beginning. I said, let me try to present a model. The model right now. The model is this: I have this particular expertise. You have this particular expertise. What can I do to support you? What can you do to support me? That is going to be overall for the benefit of the Muslims, because we all have a lot of talent that it's not being utilized because of the division. So I just tell one quick story, and hopefully we can find a way to combat this particular problem. I believe the year that I saw you, that year that I saw you, I was actually very impressed with this. You and amongst the other speakers that was there that particular conference. So I became kind of motivated to try to know the stories, your personal stories. So I approached several du'ats to try to say, can we get a biography of each one of these du'ats, so we can actually try to know what is the process on how you went to go seek knowledge in your life, from your early upbringings up until later on. So from many of the that I spoke to, they were concerned about who else I'm going to include in the book. So I said, well, this is
Astaghfirullah.
the
Like say,
goal
take
is,
my name from the book because so and so is there.
yeah.
Yes,
So
come on.
this is the problem. And I
حسد
hope
أخي
it
حسد,
doesn't happen again.
envy
We'll
and
definitely do it.
problems. This people really, may Allah give us sincerity in what we do and what we say. What is the problem? Okay, is that you put his name is there and I'm not supposed, because this is supposed to be a deviant people and my name is not matching there. Akhi, there is people self-worship, you understand? Do you know what I mean by that? They worship in their image, okay? And feel everybody else is a trash because they are not following the shuyukh, okay? Or they are not using this country as this or the policy of this scholar. So they have to find a reason why not to be part of the good. Shaitan زين لهم, okay, make things looks good to them, and they feel that they are the right, and they are not supposed to sit because you are people of bid'ah, innovation, and so. But anyway, listen, it's always going to be this sirah and fight and debates between haqq and batil everywhere, brother. Is not. So, if we, inshallah,
So we work with the ones who are,
available,
yeah.
yes. And after this, we plan something. And like I said, we have a place here that we can welcome the people and entertain them for a weekend and discuss something and work something. And like Brother Ansari said, that you have the Zoom, you can even start things once a month or every other month, is that we have a meeting until we know that we really see the idea and we can plan something, so we can put something and advertise in everywhere and tell the imams we are here. I understand, and we want put our hands together to do something better. This is what Allah is saying, تعاونوا على البر والتقوى. So, do you think we?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready for anything.
So you have one person ready.
I'm ready, inshallah.
Okay, and inshallah, I'm glad to serve.
Okay.
Nothing else. So, I'm sorry, but I appreciate that you left your work and you came, and inshallah, we see if we decide that we have a meeting, I inform you. If not, that we going to see what's the next step. Get back again together, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. May Allah
Thank you for including me.
appreciate all that. Appreciate it. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah feek. It's not time for you to go home yet?
Yeah, I'm going. My wife is calling.
Okay, you better hurry up now. I don't want to get in trouble myself. Okay, so do you see that this some progress for today, and this enough, or should we try to check with the other brother and sit and now
Maybe if
you use the doctor now, because this what you study. I did not study this kind stuff. I'm not saying it's something bad. It's something that we can utilize. So you can tell me what's the next step, and I'll try to be here to assist.
I agree with you. The next step is we start with the small group meeting with the 4 students you mentioned here.
Okay?
And then the goal of the meeting is that we focus on one problem that we want to solve together collectively. So you're saying that you also,
I think actually the main problem is now the willing for us to sit together as a people, as Muslims, as leaders in our community, that Allah bless us with the knowledge, how we can come with a code, you understand, that will allow us to at least to communicate, at least to visit, at least to get in touch with each other, establish some kind of a relationship as imams and leaders of Islamic work in America. This basically, okay? And after this, we can talk about projects, but we have تأليف القلوب, okay? Okay, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لو أنفقت ما في الأرض جميعا ما ألفت بين قلوبهم. If you, Muhammad, spend, you understand, all what's in the earth, you understand, to to join their hearts together, you could not. But ولكن الله ألف بينهم. التأليف من الله سبحانه وتعالى. That Allah to join our hearts together is from Allah, but we have to make some effort, okay? So there is some people, they humble, okay? And some people are arrogant, okay? And there is some people that the shaitan سول لهم. It gives them their ideas and thoughts, okay? No, stay away from this person or these people or that. This is Allahumma ballaght, Allahumma fashal. This is the message of any messenger, okay? Oh Allah, I delivered the message, you be my witness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, you, me, the brother, that we see that we need our brothers and we need to talk, we need to communicate, we need to have a good relationship among ourselves and start to think about the followers. Our followers understand how we can make things better for them. This is what Islam is about. Improving the people condition. If it's about dunya or about akhirah, doesn't matter. So this is what we thinking. Those who want to join, alhamdulillah. Those who don't want to join, we say salam, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you see what we see. Simple like this.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that, inshallah.
So do you want to discuss anything else, or you want to
I'll stay in town. I'll stay in town for that because I want to be a part of something. So if this is the direction that we can continue to move in, I will stay around for this, inshallah.
I want to delay you from what you're planning to do, but I will advise that maybe we get the phone number of Brother Abdul Wahab and maybe you call him by phone.
Okay.
And see if he feels that he can give you some ideas or that we need to sit tomorrow and talk about it or what.
Okay. Okay.
What do you think about it?
No problem. I'll be willing to talk.
Okay. So is this good for today?
This is good for today, inshallah.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. And by the way, I got you the information about what you asked me yesterday.
Maybe we want to get that on camera though, because some people they want to know the answer.
Okay. Which one you was?
Whichever one you did the research on, whatever one you now know the answer to.
You asked me two things.
Yeah,
One about the
one
ruh,
about
the
malaika,
soul. Huh?
The malaika.
Yeah, and one about the malaika.
Yeah.
Okay, everything as we understand. Okay, what was the question so the people who hear us can know what we're talking about?
So the first question about the malaika was
What happened to them after?
Day of Judgment. Yes.
Okay, we say that everything in that existence in this life, moon, sun, earth, human being, everything, okay, everything will die. This is something that Allah decreed, and no one will be there other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even Malak al-Maut, he will be the last one, and Allah will ask him, who else is left? Jibreel, okay, take them. And after this, who left? He say, oh Allah, me and you. Only, he said, okay, you die. And after this, subhanallah, liman al-mulk al-yawm lillah al-wahid. Who else? La ilaha illallah, there is nobody else other than Allah. Now, later on, the men, jinn, malaika will be brought again back to life. Okay? And some of the angels will be on hellfire, okay? Khazanat Jahannam, and other angels will be serving, you understand, تتلقاهم الملائكة لا خوف عليه, like receiving, welcoming to Jannah. ادخلوا الجنة بما كنتم تعملون. They welcoming them. Okay, everybody will have. So they will be revived and they will, you understand, have a job like entertainment for us in Jannah or welcoming us or whatever it is. So they're going to be there also. This is the best thing I can tell you. And I think we talk about something similar to this, about what's going to happen to the angels. Because I told you that some of them will be taking the people, dragging the people, you understand, to hellfire. So they going to return to life after they died. Yeah. As for the other questions that you asked about the ruh, The soul.
Yeah, what did I ask about it?
Where is the soul going to be, or what?
Oh,
what-
does the ruh return back to the body when the person comes to visit?
It's about a person come to visit. This has nothing to do with your visitation, okay? But there is some kind of communication or attachment between the body and the soul somehow. But both of them, they can enjoy the goodness in the grave or the punishment of the grave, okay? Some they say they be close to his grave area or his burial area. Some they said that they're going to be there in Jannah, okay, like some of them in the what you call this in some birds that they flying in Jannah
Oh,
that they,
yeah, and the green bird.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. But there is some kind of a relationship between the body and the soul, and if there is a blessing, is both of them going to enjoy it, and if it's a punishment, both of them is going to enjoy it. But it's not, you understand, it's the physical things that you see me talking to you now and shaking hands with you or doing this and that, but there is some kind of a communication, not too much details about this that we could not, things which from the unseen that we could not talk many things about it without being some hadith or verse talks about these things.
So yeah, we don't really know for sure what's the relationship between the ruh and
Like
the
I say,
body.
okay, like as example, okay, do you like how some people now in Arabia they're watching me here. So there is some kind of connections. How? But when you go in the air and you try to, what's behind this? There is nothing there, but there is some kind of, and this only example to give you, that is something that you could not. All what you see is that you have a phone in front of you or a camera in front of you, but somebody else say, okay, how is this thing to understand? And so these things understand how is not how, like what you benefit in after you say how is not how, that Allah inform us, okay, that people be enjoying what they have there in their grave, or the punishment, okay? And these things, understand, we don't go in depth on it unless that we have a clear-cut statement, okay, about it, not stories, okay? But there is a communication, some kind of communication, or waves, as example, if you can use this term. There is some kind of connection that the soul is affected and the body is affected by the punishment or the blessings.
So even in this life, before we go into the grave,
When you go to sleep, as example, okay, we go in الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها. Allah collects the souls of a human being, you understand, when they die, as well as when you go to sleep. But still there is some kind of a relationship between you and your soul, although that you are sleeping, and which is considered a smaller form of death. So it's beyond even our ability to understand. So we
but when you're
believe
sleeping, it's connected still.
there is a connection.
Still some
Yes,
connection,
yes.
yeah.
But a person comes, is not going to see something around your bed and try. So we did not go in this detail because our mind and our logic is limited, and we don't know. But we understand what Allah said, what the Prophet said, is enough, and we take it as is, and
But
not to
when
go.
you're sleeping, does the ruh leave or the nafs?
What is the ruh and what is the nafs is just another subject now. Okay? And what is the nafs? What is the ruh? So we need to see the determination of each one. Is it the same? Or you understand what is nafs, the soul, what is soul, and what is ruh? Because the ruh is an Arabic term.
So in English, they translate ruh as spirit and nafs as
What,
soul.
what is a spirit? What is spirit?
Spirit is the thing that makes you alive.
Okay, and what is nafs?
Your psyche,
Your
your personality,
intellectual. Huh?
like your personality, what makes you you.
So your ruh is makes you you.
the ruh is different than the nafs
Okay.
because it.
How far you understand we're going to go with this, you understand? And why
Yeah.
did the Sahaba did not
But
ask
there's
us
two
which-
different names. So
There is a nafs and there is a ruh, and you understand you need to read the book of Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, and all these things. I'm
yeah.
too old to remember all these
it's
things.
a complicated topic.
Yeah. So I'm happy that I know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one and alone, and He sees me, He hears me, and that He's going to question me about what I said, what I did. And I ask Allah to give me the good ending, but I don't to go in depth because there is something that you may understand, but you could not say what it is, and you could not give kayfiyya. How? Because it's alam al-ghayb, ya akhi.
Okay, so this is still kind of related to this. There's
Now you need to go to a scholar, not to somebody like
that's, yeah,
this.
that's different.
This.
But you know what's happening now with this, with these shots that they're giving out. It's genetic modification, so it changes the body.
I don't know
It
about
changes
this,
the
and I'm
genes.
not willing to enter this.
This is
About this shot, and we're going to Corona again. And
no, Corona. Okay, so this is another topic with my friend. He's interested in marrying a sister who's non-Muslim, but she wants to become a Muslim.
Who?
A friend of mine. He has this question for you, and she has riba, a home that is purchased on riba. So he wants to know what is the.
He's concerned about the woman or concerning about her income, and she's not Muslim.
But she's interested in becoming Muslim.
She's interesting, but she is not Muslim.
Not Muslim now.
Okay, so he need to be concerned about her being Muslim before he concerned about the usury. Okay? And after this is her problem before his problem, and she have, you understand, to try to see how she can free herself to the best of her ability from this. But if it's going to get her in more problems, and so may Allah help us that we to stop where we're supposed to stop, you understand? And people are not going to save me from Allah, so what I don't know, and if it's somebody else's problem and I could not solve it, I leave it and let him go to the people of knowledge, okay? And Allah knows best. Jazakallah khair. I appreciate your time, and hopefully that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes this things, and alhamdulillah we start recording these things for the future in case something happen, that the people can go and start and see how all these things started. Yeah, no hidden agenda.
No hidden agenda.
Yeah, no politics also.
No politics.
Yeah, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
You good to go for today?
I'm good to go for today.
Alhamdulillah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك, and Allah knows best.